Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dropping Down from the Rafters podcast here on Toned In Entertainment. Tonight, my guest is someone that if you've been following my Instagram, if you've been following the One Fall Wrestling Instagram, if you've just been following wrestling in general, I think you have an idea of who my guest is, and he is the Wrestling Warden. How are you doing, Warden?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. I was watching the Jimmy Wild one like last week, and it was great. So I give you a lot of crap in our interviews, but you do good work, and I can, it's show day. I'm a little angry on show day.
I appreciate that. Well, speaking of giving me crap, for those who aren't following the One Fall Wrestling Instagram, please do so. But literally, it took me 3 showers to get that booger off of me that you put on me on Friday night.
I was having a bad day. I don't think I should have lost that match, but
Yeah, it was. Speaking of like that match, you were in a match versus QT Marshall and JD. You had Elijah Drago as your tag team partner. But come this Monday at One Fall Wrestling, it's just you one-on-one with QT Marshall.
Can't wait. I have a tremendous amount of respect for QT. He helped train me. He's the best trainer in the world. Just an amazing wrestler. Doesn't get his flowers enough. Like, he's just the best. But honestly, I was pissed off I wasn't in the tournament. And easy way to climb the ladder is to make a statement. So I lost from the match, and I'll get a singles match with QT Marshall. So it's great. It's truly amazing. I'm really excited, and I'm going to drop him on his head.
Okay, so after you drop him on his head, quoting you there, of course, there's the finals for the tournament, and right now we've got Elijah Drago, you got Brady Booker, you got Vari Morales, and you got Trevor Blackwell, the 4 guys that will be competing in like a fatal 4-way, essentially, for the One Fall Championship to crown a new champion. Who do you see taking away this title next Monday?
Vari Morales. That man scares me. He's got the craziest strikes, the chops. I'm good. He's gonna win. He's gonna kick everyone in the head and knock him out, and then I'm gonna drop him on his head and be the new champion.
Okay, so you've got your eyes set on no matter who wins, but your prediction is Vari Morales works out the One Fall Heavyweight Champion this Monday.
If you don't see yourself on the top, then you're not going to get there.
I love it. Okay. Now, Warden, we did kind of a very brief interview. About 2 or 3 months ago. And we got a little bit of your backstory. But I feel like your story is one that needs to be shared. Like, it's pretty crazy out there. And I remember you talking about living in a van outside of the training facility. Give us a little bit of detail of like everything, how this all came together.
So, the pandemic hit. First of all, grew up terribly poor. I'm still terribly poor. This place behind me looks nice, but I'm crashing here. Hopefully longer than I'd like to. But the pandemic hit. Everyone was forced to, quarantine. And we got unemployment and stimulus checks. Well, I saved up all that because I was tired of being poor. And I was like, well, I got to figure out something to do after this is over. So I don't know if I had learned of QT from AEW or just the documentary, but I remember watching the documentary on like Amazon Prime or whatever. And I was like, I want to go to that school. So I applied for One Fall Power Factory, and I learned it was the Nightmare Factory. So I also applied for that. And after the pandemic was rolling down, I was at work and I got a call from him. He introduced himself as Mike. And I was like, who's Mike? And I was like, oh, this is QT Marshall. And I was like, okay, well, that's in Atlanta. I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. I was like, that's 3.5 hours away. So I bought an old crappy Ford Ecoline van, ripped the seats out the back, paid like $1,000, just under $2,000 to get it fixed, and drove it down to the factory, threw a cot in the back, and I slept in it for like in the back of the factory for like 2 years. And then it broke down, and then the factory moved, and then I slept in a car for another 2 years. And now I'm in this apartment. I've been in this apartment for about 3 months now, which is super nice. AC is amazing. It's a great invention, especially because my car didn't have AC. So, yeah, I just really, I've worked every dead end job there is. I've worked in a factory bending axles for military vehicles. I've worked as a landscaper. I've worked as a mover. I've worked as a line cook, a baker. I've been a assistant scoutmaster. I've been a lifeguard instructor, of course, a lifeguard. I've taught swim lessons. If you can name a job, I've probably done something similar to it, and I hated it all. And I just wanted to make a change and do something I enjoy and hopefully make money doing it. The making money thing hasn't happened yet, but the wrestling itself is just amazing. It's nice having I feel like there's an upside to wrestling where before I didn't have that upside. So even though I've been through all this crappy stuff and had this hard time, I feel like there's a chance I can get through it and make something of myself. And that's what I'm hanging on to right now. Sucking cost fallacy, But yeah.
Okay. Wow. I knew about the part, I know you mentioned about living in a van, and wow, the struggles are crazy. And you're talking, sleeping in a car, and
it was a 2003 Kia Rio, which I am 6'4", 300 pounds. Those numbers don't mix.
Right. Did you ever get knocks on the window, wellness checks or
So not in the car. One time it's a black Ecoline van, and it's Atlanta, and it was in the middle of summer, and the van doesn't have AC either, and it was just crazy hot. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to prop open the door a little bit to let some cool night air in. And then I wake up at 2 a.m. to a cop knocking on my window and asking me for my ID and stuff. I'm like, hey, I work here. This is the parking lot I work in. This was not at the factory. This was at my job at the time. And he just left me on my way, but that was scary. But luckily, no one else has knocked on my window besides that cop that one time. I feel like this is Atlanta. Everyone's used to crazy people. They just let crazy people do it. You know what I mean? It's not their monkeys, not their service. They just keep moving.
Right. They're just making sure no foul play or anything's going on there. And it's just, they got bigger fish to fry, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. So what went through your mind? I mean, obviously, you said you were up in North Carolina to make this decision in the first place. It's a huge, life change and a life investment, I guess you could say, to do this in the first place.
I've had not the best life. I can get into how I got into wrestling here in a moment, but I'm gonna answer your question first. My dad stabbed my mom in front of me. I lost my brother. I had to actually go get my brother in a cardboard box and drive back his corpse from Miami to Asheville and bury it myself because we couldn't afford to have someone do it for us. Just a little over a year and a half ago, I lost my sister, lost my uncle. And then you can, of course, assume with the stabbing, even before that, things probably weren't great, And I don't know, through all these crappy times, I'd always just fall back and watch some wrestling. Because things kind of just in wrestling, usually the good guy wins. You know what I mean? The good guy comes in on top, the bad things go away in wrestling, which was a nice escape, gave me a break, gave me time to process things. And somehow just over that time period of years and years of watching it, with the pandemic giving me a chance to do it, I just had to take a chance, and since I've been doing it, it's been great. I love professional wrestling. I love professional wrestling. It means something to me. I refuse to let it just be a hobby. When I'm in that ring, whether it be in a match in front of people or just a practice, I feel alive, and everything else kind of just feels like waiting,
Okay, well, I mean, you're damn good at it. You're very entertaining in the ring. I always enjoy when you're on the show, that's for sure. I know I'm going to say, I mean, not that I paying to go to the shows because I'm working, but I do get my money's worth, when I do see you in the ring. And, it's funny because as the Warden, I do want to touch on this because, you get a lot of heat, you get a lot of shit thrown at you, so to say.
I think I'm a great guy.
I think so too.
I guess when I come out there, I guess I look mean or something. And then people say mean things at me, and then they opens the door for me to just throw it right back. And I've said some pretty messed up things, and I usually win the yelling argument, and I don't think they want to throw the first punch to start the fighting argument,
What's great about professional wrestling in general is, and I'm just speaking for the One Fall shows in particular here, because these are the ones I've seen you at. But like, we go to Watkinsville, you're getting booed. You go to McDonough, you're getting booed. But when we were in Cumming, 2 or 3 weeks ago, man, the people were all about the Warden at that show.
I hope we go back to Cumming because that was a nice change of pace. If only I had merch shirts to sell, maybe I would have made some money. Yeah, I don't know, kind of just different offices like me a little bit more. Especially kind of like the rednecky areas. I feel like they just like to see a small guy get his mouth shut up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm up to be cheered, but for some reason it doesn't seem like it's in the car.
Well, you're a big scary guy, I think people have that, like, you have that kind of like old school look to you, I guess I could say. The big guy comes out all with the hair and just beats the crap out of his opponent in 2 minutes.
I feel like picking the nose and slamming a helmet into my head doesn't help either.
It doesn't.
It's a little off-putting.
Okay, well, let me ask you about the picking the nose part, since I've been on the receiving end of that. Like, I know Brady's been on the receiving end of it, and several other people. I know Jimmy Wild told me, not to let you pick your nose on the podcast. I told him I wasn't going to tell you what to do because I know better than that. But where did the picking the nose thing come from?
There are things that are similar to it. I don't know when I started doing it at all. Because there's of course like wrestlers have done like the snot rocket before, and then like Shawn Michaels would put the Canadian flag in his nose and stuff, and probably just some mix of that had me like, oh, what if I just pick my nose and flick it at people, because I probably did the snot rocket first, and then for some reason made the connection to pick my nose and flick it at people, and I've gotten in so much trouble in North Georgia. They hate me up there. Promoters have asked me to stop because they're really not a fan, but I'm just going to keep doing it. It's the easiest thing to do. I come out, I start picking my nose, I go to feed it to someone, everyone makes noise. It's great. It's a lot better than getting slammed. So I'm up for that.
Okay. I was going to say, it's what we want in professional wrestling is that reaction. Like, whether it's cheer or booed or disgust or hatred or loved, it doesn't matter. Like, silence is not golden. It's only golden in the movie theater. But in professional wrestling, silence is not golden. And you create a lot of you get a lot of vocal people at your during your matches.
I do a lot of like bar shows and brewery shows. If you can't get those people to make noise, something's wrong with you. Something's wrong. Like, that's all I'm saying. It's easy. It's easy and it's fun. And sometimes it just takes picking your nose.
I was going to say that's the advantage with the bar shows is like, it's that you get everybody has a cold beer in them before the show starts. So it's already like everybody's already warmed up to get loud and a little, have some fun with it. So yeah, it definitely makes a difference. Definitely adds to the ambiance, so to say, of what and I'm loving these bar shows, man. It's like
right.
I never saw too many people doing it. I was down in Miami and CCW was doing the bar shows, and not too many people were doing it. But I feel like here in 2025, almost half of every show is at a bar now, which I think is brilliant.
There's like a negative stigma around it because they're always like, oh yeah, the bars and what's the other thing they say? The bars and the I forgot it. I just had it. It's gone now. But they're always like, oh, they think it looks unprofessional or looks bad. And I'm like, nah, but it sells tickets and it's fun and the people have fun and the wrestlers have fun. And like, it's just easy. Like, why make it harder on yourself and try to sell out another building where no one shows up? You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to knock the hustle, because I have a great time every time I go to one, especially if they let me curse.
Yes, that's good. Some of them they're 21 and over or 18 and over, and you guys could be a little bit more loose with it. Let's talk about the name The Warden and the origin story of it.
So when I was living in the Nightmare Factory, I don't know, I don't know how it came to it, but I was given a key to the Nightmare Factory, and it ended up being where, like, if anyone wanted in, they usually had to message me, and it feels wrong to say, but like if any of the coaches needed to get in, or they had like some kind of taping or anything in there, I would often have to be the one to be there to let them in, or I'd have to stash the key somewhere. And Coach Glacier started calling me the Phantom, like the Phantom of the Nightmare Factory. And someone else brought up Warden because it's a key. So I was the only one with the key. So I was the Warden of the factory. And I was like, that's a cool name. I'm a very large, round person. I don't think a Phantom fits the vibe. You see me, So Warden kind of just stuck. And I'll introduce myself to people as James. And they still call me Warden. And I ain't going to complain about it. It sounds cool. But yeah, it just kind of just stuck.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever called you James, to be honest, one time. I always say, "What's going on, Warden? How you doing, Warden?" Like, for me, like I respect your guys' wrestling personas, and I don't want to walk through, Watkinsville or whatever, and we're having ice cream, even if we're out there or whatever. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Warden, what's going on?" Like.
I know it's good branding for the mere fact that people say Warden instead of James. Same thing with the helmet. Everyone is asking, like, why do I bring a helmet? And I'm like, because you asked about it.
Right.
Like, it's an object to hit people with, and it gets your attention. People will be like, oh yeah, the guy with the helmet, he was great. It's just something for people to attach themselves to.
Right.
And just give you a little, like, no. And also, I hit people with it. And it's an effective weapon, and usually the refs don't take it away.
I was gonna say the helmet kind of gives a little Demolition Man vibes to me. The Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes movie. The helmet. I don't know. It just kind of Judge Dredd. I don't know. Like, it kind of gives that kind of feel to me, like that future in the future, but the future is all messed up type of deal. And here is the Warden. Like that's the kind of Warden I feel you are.
Apparently, there was a French wrestler that used like a bicycle helmet. He brought a bicycle helmet to the ring.
I'm sure there probably has been. Yeah,
I was astounded, and I was like, "Really?" Well, I promise you, I did not steal it from a French wrestler from like the early '80s or something. It was just a spur of the moment thing. I think it came because I wrestle in motorcycle boots. I used to wrestle in the lace up boots, but I had a pair of motorcycle boots that I used to ride motorcycle on, and I was like, my lace boots, the string broke. I needed something else. Grabbed the motorcycle boots. Haven't looked back since. It's great.
Oh, okay.
Zip up on the side, so easy. Doesn't have to spend 5 minutes lacing all the boots. Nah, I'm good. Zipper on the side, great. There are also they have some foam in there too. So if anyone tries to stomp on my toe, nah.
I feel like, they're both practical and comfortable at the same time, which is pretty nice.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Now, for those that have seen you in the ring, obviously one of your moves, you do pay tribute to Mark Henry with that move. Go ahead.
I loved Mark Henry. I just thought he was the coolest guy. There's that Mark Henry Big Show feud when I was younger, and I was Mark Henry all the way. And I wanted a more explosive move to do that was still good for a big man, because I could do a cool drop kick or a moonsault or something. And I was just like, I'd rather not sacrifice my knees for that. And I also rather just do something that fits the Warden vibe a little bit more. And I was watching some Mark Henry, and I saw that, and I was like, screw it, I'm going to reach out to him. So I just messaged him on Instagram, thinking nothing would come of it. Like, hey, can I do that weird senton you used to do through the ropes? And like a day later, he messaged back, "Yes, sir," and then gave me a follow. And I was like, "What?" And I've been doing it like every match I can ever since. Sometimes it's not as pretty as other times, but I I'm gonna do it. I got given permission to do it. I got to do it. I got a lot of interesting moves, and I don't know how I come up with half of them. People start calling me the Move Smith, and I was like, that's got to be taken. Someone's got to be doing that before. That gimmick sounds too good. But yeah, like I pride myself on having a very, very innovative move set for a big man. Like I do a hip toss and a black hole slam. I do like a blue thunder bomb going the wrong way. I have this weird like kneeling abdominal stretch, like things I've never seen before. And I'm sure some Joshi wrestlers done it like 10, 20 years ago, and I've just not seen the footage yet. But for now, I'm the most innovative big man in wrestling.
There you go. Put your stamp on it and keep running with it, my friend, for sure.
Heck yeah.
Well, let me ask you. Okay, so kind of want to go back to like your training and kind of, you show up at the Nightmare Factory, you're in the van, there's all these new people. Like, how do you, God, I'm trying to come up with the right words here because it's kind of like you put everything on the line to make this happen. So
I don't know, something's wrong with me. Something's just wrong with me. I just really love wrestling, and nothing else really just fits right. But I do love me some wrestling. I literally was in the first ever Nightmare Factory camp. And I was trained by Cody and QT, and that was it. Luke Sampson, the amazing trainer, wasn't there yet. Billy Gunn, the amazing trainer, wasn't there yet. Glacier had gone hip surgery, so he wasn't there at the time. It was just QT and Cody, and then like we had some people come in and help now and then because we had 4 rings at the time, like Alan Angels, who's amazing, Preston Vance, who's amazing, Aaron Solo came through, ended up having a match with Aaron Solo, probably my favorite match. Like I was truly blessed because I got to go there before they got super busy. Like I got Cody and QT 4 days out of the week because this was before Cody went back to WWE, and this was the pandemic was winding down, so a lot of the stuff was pre-taped or whatever. So I got Cody and QT 4 days a week for 12 weeks straight. I think Cody missed one day and QT missed one day, and I hang my head on the fact that I'm one of the few people that was actually like fully trained by those two. And I'm so unbelievably lucky because they're just amazing wrestlers. They're amazing promos. They're amazing coaches. And they're also just amazing people. Like they're my coaches, but also they're kind of my mentors too, because I just really look up to them and kind of strive to follow in their footsteps. Yeah. And it made it so much easier living in a van, knowing that the people training me were actually like good at what they do. Literally I'd go from the camp. We'd have our strength and conditioning by this guy named Ian, who was amazing. He trains football people, like football players and like the NFL and stuff. So we'd go strength and conditioning with him. Then we'd be like 2 or 3 hours in the ring. Then all the people would leave and then night class would start. Of course, I'm living in my van, so I just hung out at night class. And so I got like a little extra on the side where they were even telling people like, hey, don't stay for night class except for Warden, you're fine. So I got a little extra side training at night. And then, of course, after I got the key and after I graduated the beginners camp, I was in that ring like all the time. Literally all I would do, because it was still the pandemic, so a lot of places weren't opening up and my job hadn't opened back up yet. It was literally wake up, gym again, wrestle again, sleep for like 3 or 4 months. And it was just the funnest time. It was also the fittest I've ever been. Now that I have to go back to work, I've gained some weight and I hate it.
What would you say is the biggest maybe improvement you've made since you went into that first class to where we are here in May of 2025?
So I've always been like physically capable. Like I'm a big guy. And so I'm not like I wasn't the most agile. I'm still probably not the most agile, but I always had like the body control stuff down. But I also love chaining a whole lot. And then I learned that when you're this size, you can just slam people or punch them in the face. You don't really need to worry about chaining, which is nice. But the body control stuff I kind of had down. My main problem, and it still is I overthink too much. I often find myself just thinking and getting amped up and not slowing down and actually noticing the situation. But I also, my promos and my interview skills back in the day were significantly worse. I kind of realized that I can kind of just talk. I don't need to be this crazy outlandish character. I can just be me but mad, and it usually works out and people are usually down for it. Yeah, especially because a lot of the people that inspired me when I was younger, they kind of just talked. They kind of were just people. They were kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes we find out, and it's great that we're getting to do all this stuff. That like sometimes less is more, and like you could be like the promo, man. That was awesome. The one we did on Friday. Like it was just, it's right to the point. It's who you are. You get your character over, and you go about your day. Like, and it makes a statement at the same time. Like, it's like, yeah, not everybody can be, Ric Flair or MJF or, some of these guys, The Rock, who could be out there for 12 minutes cutting a promo. Like sometimes, you could just lay it all out there and get it all in. And, that's definitely what you're doing. I often ask this question, but I feel like this one may be difficult for you to answer because usually I ask people kind of like, I say the world of professional wrestling is a bizarro place. I feel like you've already lived and told us a bunch of bizarro stories. So I kind of want to, in the world of professional wrestling, whether it's at a show or inside the ring, do you have like a bizarro story for us?
Ooh. Trying to think of anything crazy. I don't know. All the super crazy stuff, I feel like I can't name names. Like, you know what I mean?
You don't have to name a name. Yeah.
I can tell you what's kind of like bizarre about me as a person when it comes to wrestling.
Okay.
And it's the fact that I had never been to a wrestling show till I started wrestling. My first time experienced wrestling in person was me doing an internship with Tony Schiavone. Like I was that is my first time watching wrestling in person, is doing it backstage. I'd never been to an indie show. I'd never been to WWE or AEW or WCW or TNA, none of that. Like I said before, I grew up really poor. I live in Asheville, North Carolina. Wrestling really didn't come there that often, if at all. And I discovered wrestling because my neighbor had like a PlayStation or something. And I went over there, and I think it was Smackdown versus Raw 2007. He locked in Booker T, and I locked in Boogeyman. And I was like, who is this guy eating worms? Maybe that's where the burgers come from. Maybe I just have to be gross.
Did we just have an epiphany? Did we just have an epiphany?
I have to be gross, but I can't eat worms. What do I do? I'll pick my nose. But yeah, he had Booker T, and I saw this guy smashing a clock on his head and eating worms. I was like, I gotta play this guy. And then I was playing the game. I was like, this is so cool. I gotta learn more about this. I started watching wrestling, and then I discovered R-Truth, and I was like, this guy. I mean, I have significantly lighter skin, but I'm like, this is my people. This is my guy. And then I discovered CM Punk, who is just my favorite till today. He made it cool to be straight edge, to not smoke and drink and do drugs or any of that, which I had some stuff happen in my youth where I was like, I swore off that, but then I always felt like a stick in the mud or like a Debbie Downer. But he made me feel like, no, this is like the right thing to do. Like this is a noble thing to do, which was real nice and gave me confidence and like sobriety. And then of course I learned about FTR, the revival from my hometown. And I was like, okay, if they can do it, maybe I can do it. And I was always looking up stuff to try to train, and nothing was nearby. But luckily the pandemic hit. But yeah, I'd never watched wrestling in person. My first time at a wrestling show in general was doing an extra work for Tony Schiavone. I was following him around all day. He was amazing. I had an amazing time. It was so cool. And then when the show started, we went out on seat filled because it was the pandemic and people still weren't allowed in the audience, so they needed some sound. So if you watch one of those old Daily Place AEWs, I'm in the audience somewhere with my like white polo, and like my hair wasn't long enough to put in a ponytail yet, but it was too short to be an afro, so I just looked terrible. Yeah. And then like my first indie show was like in Sevierville, Tennessee. I did I did ring crew, and that's my first time seeing an indie show. And then my first time doing a WWE show was extra work again. I've yet to just go watch a WWE show, and I have to, because I've never seen John Cena wrestle, and I need to see him wrestle before he retires. Yeah, I need to, because he's just one of the best. It was a huge part of my childhood. I was always CM Punk over John Cena. Cena was always the heel in my eyes. He didn't turn heel this year. He was always the heel. Okay, Punk was the baby face. But I gotta see him. I gotta see him in person, because I know it's gonna be magical.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about two of those, kind of circle back to two of those things you talked about. Tony Schiavone, who, again, I've been watching since I was a small child, from the WCW days, and, even NWA and WCW. And to me, he's like an icon to me, like legitimate, like, I as a backstage interviewer and a journalist and stuff like that, he's definitely one of the guys that I look up to. Him and Mean Gene are probably two of the top that I kind of follow. So kind of under the tutelage of the mind and the greatness that is Tony Schiavone, what are some of maybe the gems you took away from that day?
So I was way too early in my wrestling career to get any of like the business stuff that I could use in the ring. However, just walking around backstage with him, and like how to hold yourself and how to interact with people and show them the proper respect. Like he introduced me to everyone back there. I met everyone back there. I got to meet JR. I got to meet Taz. I got to meet Kenny Omega. Like he introduced me to everyone. I shook everyone's hand. Some people I even had a short conversation with, like just kind of how to network, you know what I mean? How to hold yourself in a position where you're not like a fan, or you're not like someone that's not supposed to be there, you know what I mean? And while also having fun. Like he was joking around with everyone. He made the experience significantly less stressful, because once more, like I'd never been to a wrestling show before. I did not know what it was going to be like. And I'm very confident when it comes to punching people from the face. Not very good at small talk. I don't know if you can tell by how bad this interview is.
No,
I'm not very good at small talk.
We're rolling, Warden.
No, I'm having a good time. I just like to bury myself sometimes. But yeah,
because you're the only person that can bury you, Warden.
You got me there. But yeah, it was. I remember my job had just opened back up, and they tried to get me there that day, and I quit because I was like, I get to go intern with Tony Schiavone. I got to have a conversation with Jake the Snake Roberts, who told me about how when he wrestled in Asheville and stuff. I was kind of scared he was going to talk about when someone threw a snake in the ring. My grandfather threw a snake at Ric Flair in Asheville, North Carolina. So that's a fun fact about me. It's my only wrestling in my bloodline is someone throwing a snake at Ric Flair. I think it was Ric Flair and Piper. I was terrified he was going to bring that up, but luckily he just talked about how like long it's been since wrestling's been there and stuff. It was truly, I just can't get over how lucky I am. And a lot of people don't understand how I can say that when they hear like where I've been. And I'm like, well, I'm lucky because I'm in a position where I can like make something of myself. Like I'm put in a position where I can make all this bad into a good, which a lot of people don't get. You know what I mean? A lot of people just bad their whole life and then they die. But now I'm in a position where I can have fun and I can wrestle. And if I do it right, maybe I don't have to live in a car anymore.
I was going to say, there seems to be no regrets on quitting that job and going to AEW that night.
Just got another job, you know. I've done every job in the business. I've done every job out there, like something similar to it. And I'll tell you this much: wrestling hurts a lot. It does not hurt more than being a professional mover or bending axles for military vehicles. I'm gonna be real with you. Maybe in the long term, I'm gonna hate it more, but it has just the worst. That was the worst. Everyone that works a 9 to 5, mad respect, because even my job now is mostly sitting in a chair, and I cannot complain. I'm just popping an earbud and listen to wrestling podcasts. It's great.
Okay. And then the other thing I want to circle back to is the straight edge stuff. A lot of respect, because we all know growing up, it's tough to you see, I went to Catholic school till like 8th grade, and then I go to high school, right? And then all of a sudden, the guys that you're going to school with now are now smoking and they're drinking at 16, 17 years old. And my parents, I guess my mom pretty much put the fear of God in me not to be doing that kind of stuff. And then you start seeing your friends doing all kinds of stuff. And I've kind of, I do enjoy a beverage from time to time, but I feel like I'm a pretty straight edge guy other than that, like a social drinker or whatever, but not giving into the peer pressure. I mean, nobody's going to really make you give into the peer pressure again, of doing something, but it had to be tough, because we know how it is growing up, seeing everybody else do these things and to stay in a straight line, so to say.
So I'm I've always been curious. I've just never partaken, because my brother, one of my earliest memories of my brother is him just shit-faced drunk, trying to convince my mom, who won't let her out the driveway of the house, convince her to run him over. And so that's not very, good on the mind. So I'm just not, and then he would wake up the next day and he just wouldn't remember any of it and wouldn't understand why people weren't comfortable with him drinking. And it was just he was a completely different person. He was just a very sad person when he got drunk. And I just never wanted to not be me. You know what I mean? And I know there's some drugs don't work like that or whatever, but I just want to be me. You know what I mean? I'm happy with me. Me can be sad. Me can be happy. Me can do stuff. I don't need to be anyone else. I don't want to wake up the next day and know what I've done or who I've hurt. So yeah, it's truly sad. The last thing he ever told me was that he hated me. And I've learned from my sister that he really regretted that and that he wanted to call me. And the fact that he never got the chance to talk to me after that and how much that hurt me, cannot imagine how much it hurt him. And what's crazy and what I'm really thankful for is alcohol isn't what actually got him. He was just going to a Walmart and just got ran over by a security guard that fell asleep at the wheel, which sucks. But I much prefer him passing away like that instead of having it to do something with alcohol.
Right. Oh, wow. Man, my heart goes out to you, my friend. It's been, just crazy story after crazy story. And I'm so excited for you, more than ever, hearing your stories, I'm in your corner for you to succeed and do this. And I always get excited, when I see you at the shows or wrestling these matches. And man, this is why I like to have guys and girls like you on the show, because I feel like it gives us a little insight into where you come from, no, go ahead.
I feel like with wrestling, everyone talks about the stories, telling the stories and the moments. and all the wrestlers like me, we enjoy the wrestling and we never take time to tell the stories. And that's why I really appreciate you inviting me to this, because one of the best things a wrestler can do is just tell people how they got there and tell people what they want to do in the future. And I've been waiting for the longest time for someone to interview me or ask to interview me. Just because like I know I'm not great at talking about this, especially in a wrestling interview setting, like a wrestling promo setting, just because I don't want to feel like I'm trauma dumping all the time. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of like a crutch or something. But in a position like this, I can actually just openly tell you about my story, and it doesn't feel fake or disingenuous or just like scummy, you know?
Right. And I feel like for me now, like I'm glad we chose to do it this way. Cause yeah, it's like it'd be like, oh, we got 8 minutes to talk, before you have to get dressed and ready to go, and you really can't sit down and like share too much. I remember you talking about the van and stuff, but we never really got into the detail. And I'm kind of glad that like, this type of platform does exist, because you can't do that, at a show for 10 minutes. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, the real subjects just don't sell tickets. You know what I mean? Like the real stuff doesn't sell tickets. No one wants to hear about Stone Cold living in his car eating potatoes and canned tuna.
Right.
But stories like that makes me think that I have like a chance, and like that story gave me the chance to think that I can do something. If Stone Cold was eating raw potatoes in his car, maybe me eating some like dollar menu McDonald's in my car, maybe one day I can main event a WrestleMania or something. You know what I mean? Because that is the goal at the end of the day. I want to make it to the top. Life's been too hard for me to just give up and wallow in my own problems. You know what I mean? I want to make it better. I want things to be better. And I want to inspire other people to make their lives better as well.
Now, I know we mostly focused, talking about, One Fall Wrestling, because that's obviously where we're both at, but you're doing a lot of traveling. Like I see you like on planes and, hitting the road and doing stuff. So let's talk about a little bit about what else you got going on and some of your adventures out there.
So, I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. So I wrestle at my home promotion, Urban Combat Wrestling. If you're in Western North Carolina, you've got to go. The tagline is "Not Your Grandpa's Wrestling," and it's really not. You hear some crazy things on that show. It's generally just if you're there for just fun, stupid stuff, it's great. It's great. It's just the wrestling is amazing. The wrestlers are so good. The people the whole place is cool. I really suggest if you're in the Western North Carolina area, go check it out. Like there's so many independent wrestlers trying to get on that show because of how good it is. And like they can't manage. The card is always just stuffed to the brim with amazing talent. Of course, I wrestle all over Georgia. I go up to Georgia Premier Wrestling sometimes. As you said, One Fall. Sometimes I'll go to CCW up in Tennessee. I've wrestled mostly just on the East Coast, but in November I'm supposed to be in Japan.
So okay.
We'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to that. First international. I'm in the middle of getting my passport right now. My birth certificate is right there because I've got to go do all that. But if anyone wants to book me anywhere, I'll get myself there somehow. You know what I mean? I flew the flight you're talking about, I believe, is when I flew to, wasn't Tennessee. The Tennessee flight got canceled. Where did I fly? I flew to Florida. And did some shows down there in Florida, which were real fun. I would really like to get into Florida more too, because there's just so much fun. But once more, like that place is filled to the brim with wrestlers, so it's really hard to get on those shows. But every time I get invited to like a CCW or what's the name of the promotion I wrestled at? I'm a bad person. I should know these. But
No, Florida is stacked. I came from there.
There's a
It's
lot of
stacked,
people.
yeah.
I mean, the performance center is there. You know what I mean? It'd be like, why would you not be in Florida? The performance centers are right there. There's always wrestlers around. It's a great place to learn. There's so many schools. I like a Hog just moved down there.
Or they are or something. Yeah, I did see something about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I sadly I've not gone out of like the South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, Florida, Georgia area. But I'm always up to go somewhere else, especially just waiting for the call. I mean, I feel a lot of people are terrified to book me because they think I'm going to be crazy expensive, but no, I'm here to wrestle. Just reach out. Like we can come to agreement.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people don't sometimes leave their own state. So, I mean, the fact that you're even Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, Florida, that's still 5 states right there. And you are a very, very busy dude. And again, I got to give you a lot of props too for you're very active promoting yourself on social media.
I try. I try. It's that we had a multimedia person at the Nightmare Factory come through and give us some pointers. And so I'm so sorry if you follow me on social media, but I am about to get so annoying. I'm about to post so much more because I already post a lot, but she gave me some information. So there's about to be even more posts. I've had the honor of going viral a few times. I have like 1.5 million views on TikTok for like a video of me like a year in, which is insane. I have another post that's literally me just giving a crossroads to a girl that has like 500,000 views. And I've got, I think, a little over 10,000 2,000 followers on Instagram and 7,000 followers on TikTok. And I try to post as much as I can. I'm really bad at Twitter. I just can't.
We all are. We're wrestling. We're in the wrestling. Like, no, Twitter's for talking.
I feel like I scream into the void. I feel like I'm always just screaming into the void. It doesn't help that I use social media for wrestling and cute pet videos. Twitter just refuses to feed me wrestling and cute pet videos. They're just shoving other things in my face that aren't worth my time.
What videos? Because I'll tell you mine. But what type of videos do you get on your Twitter feed?
It loves to just have political like conspiracy theory crap, and I'm just like, I don't have time for that.
Okay.
I don't have time for that. I just won't. I mean, if it's going to be a fun conspiracy theory, cool. But they're usually just like this guy with like 10 followers just screaming about some dumb stuff that makes no sense. And I'm just like, how is this on my feed? Why am I seeing this? I'm here for cat videos, dog videos, and wrestling videos. That's it. That's all I need.
Right. Because on my Twitter, it's just wrestling and gaming. And I get dash cam videos, like the world's like craziest, like, oh, here's this guy. And then like how people get busted, like by undercover cops and stuff like, and I'm like, I don't understand how I got caught into this vortex because I don't follow anybody. But like if I pull up Twitter, it's like literally crazy dash cam videos is what I get in my
Instagram
feed.
gives me trouble sometimes too. Like sometimes Instagram will randomly just send me videos in a different language. And I'm just like, what? I know I'm brown, but I don't think the algorithm should be sending me memes of non-English content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember back in our days, when like you could actually get on Instagram and see the stuff that you wanted to see. And that's what's crazy because it makes it hard for everybody to be discovered nowadays because they're pushing kind of like there's literally wrestlers on my feed I have not seen in probably 2 years who probably post at least a couple times a week.
It's just all that slop, like all the clickbait slop,
yes.
rage bait stuff that's everywhere. And then of course, TikTok's loving their ads right now, which is great. I love ads. They just really, really don't eat up my time or anything.
Not at all. No.
Not like I'm busy or trying to like make something of myself or something.
No. Well, With that being said, Warden, is there anything cool you have coming up or anything else that you would like to discuss while we have you here?
So I think the QT match is the big match happening right now.
It's about 1 week from today. Yes, on the
Yes.
19th.
The Monday coming up is me versus QT. Gonna drop him on his head, his surgically repaired neck. This Saturday, I'm at Urban Combat Wrestling Highwire Brewery in Asheville, North Carolina. It is the Biltmore location. I'm wrestling a guy I've wrestled before. Last time we wrestled, he dove on me 3 times. This time I'm going to move out the way. We'll see if he's ready for it. I think that's all I got coming up this weekend. But yeah, follow me on everything. It's just Wrestling Warden. I'm thinking since I have a place to stay for now, we'll see how long this lasts. I might start streaming. So follow my Twitch. It's also going to be Wrestling Warden. And I might play games for the first time in like 5 years. It's been too long. I'm going to be so rusty and bad. I can't wait to be bullied by 12-year-olds.
Oh, that's half the fun, right? But what games are you thinking about diving into?
The new Oblivion, I gotta. The new Oblivion, I gotta play the new Oblivion, the remastered Oblivion, because I was a big Skyrim guy, and I played a good bit of Oblivion at my mom's office. My mom's place of work had like a place where you could just throw kids while she was teaching lessons. So she would just throw me in there, and they had an Xbox. So I bought like a Oblivion, like a used Oblivion copy and a used Skyrim copy, and played it on that Xbox 360 or whatever at my mom's job.
Okay.
I've had some hours in those games. I also like Rainbow Six Siege and Dead by Daylight. Anything a little grimy, you know what I mean? I'm a grimy guy. I need a grimy game, you know?
Right. A little strategic as well, too, you know?
I'm real competitive.
Yeah.
I'm real competitive. It gets me in a lot of trouble. Real competitive. I get so mad at games. If you want to see someone rage, that's me. I remember I broke a glass desk once. I would pound away at it all the time. And then this one time I got up and I just laid my headphones down, and I wasn't mad or anything. And I turned to get up, and when I got up, my hip hit the desk, shattered the glass desk. And I was like, I pounded away on this thing for an hour straight, and just standing up and lightly hitting it broke it. You can see how angry I am when I wrestle. You can imagine how it is when 12-year-olds are calling me trash on a video game.
I'm sure you get even more angry when you're gaming. Trust me, I am there. Yes, as a gamer myself. Yes, I think my wife sometimes looks back at me and is like, "What's this? Isn't no. What's going on?" And I'm like, "You don't understand."
Yeah, we take it serious.
It's Street Fighter.
We take our relaxation seriously.
Yes, I'm like, I shouldn't have lost this match, and you don't understand. But I get it all out, and then I have a smile on my face, and I can go about my day.
I'm telling you, I might seem mad, but I promise I'm having a good time.
Yes, exactly.
My mom could comprehend. He's like, "Why do you play these games that make you mad?" And I'm like, it's good. You don't understand. It's great. I feel better afterwards.
Yes, because my wins are making them do what I just did, and I'm getting a lot more wins, so I'm good to go now.
Absolutely.
Well, Warden, it was definitely a pleasure speaking with you this evening. You mentioned, I think, where everybody can follow you at, right?
It's Wrestling Warden on everything.
Easy to find.
We got to do this again.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's you were easy to find when I first came up here and was doing TCW, and I started looking everybody up. I'm like, oh, you were very easy to locate on Instagram, and I do appreciate that.
I try.
Yeah. And you have merch as well too, right? That you do
I
at
do
the
Pro
shows.
Wrestling Tees. I think if you just type in Warden, or if you go prowrestlingtees.com/wrestling Warden, I got some amazing shirts up there made by amazing, talented people. I try to always just have good stuff. I hate when wrestlers have like stock image pictures just thrown on a shirt with like Comic Sans text, and I'm just like, you try a little harder than that. You know what I mean? Especially because like Fiverr exists. Like you can find a good guy. It just takes like 10 minutes of searching. And
Right.
they'll knock you out a good shirt design for like $20. It's great. It's great.
There you go. Don't skimp on the merch designs. Don't skimp on having the merch. Don't skimp on the social media posts as well too. Warden, you're doing it. You're doing it all by the book and all good, my friend. It's good to see. I love it when guys or girls are taking pride in their careers and what they're doing, and you are not only do you push yourself, but you push other people as well too.
You
so
got
much respect. Yeah.
You got it. I share all the people in the local area. People that aren't in the local area, just people that I know personally or I look up to. I always try to put them on my story. Just because honestly, I hope they do it back to me. You know what I mean? I try to make some good content. I put it up. I share people's. Hopefully, you know, they share mine.
Right. Well, you're doing a great job. And yeah, I can't wait to see you versus QT Marshall 1 week from today on Monday, May 19th at One Fall Wrestling. I know you guys can get your tickets by following One Fall Wrestling on their website. Through their website, you can get tickets or at the door. Warden, again, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you. This was amazing. We have to do it again.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. First time. And yeah, there'll be more to come for sure. There will be probably more boogers put on my side as well too. See, he's already got them going.
I don't want to flick it in my own house. You know?
No. You save them.
Somebody's house. I'm good. I
don't
that early.
Yeah. You save them for the ring. Save them for your opponents out there. Guys, please follow the Wrestling Warden on all his social media posts. If you see him at your local show, definitely come out. Not only to cheer him or boo him or whatever you want to do, but visit the merchandise booth. He went dark over there. It's all good. But guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that red subscribe button so you can stay tuned in here to Tone and Entertainment for future videos.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.